love to bring up Richard Gagne from Dismas House, one of the directors, who is going to share a story for you. Even the title sounded intriguing, and also give us a little lens into the work that they do. So please welcome Richard.
Thank you. Yeah, so I thought I would give my story a title. I decided on calling it How I Made My Way to Winooski and Learned to Love the Winooski PD. So, but you know, I've been involved with Dismas since we started in 1986, so I've been there basically forever. Our location in the Burlington area is on Buell Street, so really just a very short walk away from here. A number of years ago, we decided to do a video, and we interviewed one of the folks who was living at the house. And in that interview, one of the things that he said I thought was like the most profound thing I had heard. He said, or at least in terms of understanding, you know, somebody coming out of prison. He said, when I came to Dismas House, I felt like I was coming to a regular house in a regular neighborhood, but I wasn't a regular person, right? So the experience of incarceration is one of alienation, of feeling like you're an outcast, you're a reject. And so people coming out of prison, they have a bunch of things that they need. They need a place to live. They need to find employment, but they also need acceptance. And that's one of the things that we try to do at Dismas House. And we do that by creating a kind of community that involves the people living in the house, the former prisoners living in the house, the students who might be living in the house, creating community with each other, and also by having volunteer cooks coming, because we eat dinner together like a family might do, so we create this sense of a family community at the house. And so through those kind of relationships, then a person who's coming out of jail enters into a relationship, you know, with a student or the volunteer. The volunteer like Alec and his wife and his family, actually, I should say, they're volunteers. So they come once a month. They show up every, what night of the month is it? Okay, every first Friday. Their family shows up. And as soon as they walk in their door, they're communicating something really important to the norms that live in the house. And that is, I care enough about you that I'm going to be in relationship with you. I accept you, right? So that's the opposite message of incarceration, which is you're no good and we reject you. So that's the struggle of people coming out of prison. And in some ways, it's our struggle, too, for an organization that is serving a group like that. So in the mid-2000s, we had a super long waiting list. And it took people would have to wait in jail 6 to 8 months just to get a bed to come and live at Dismas House. Can you imagine that? Spending an extra 6 to 8 months in jail just to wait to find a place to get out. So we thought it would be really great if we could find another place to open up in Burlington or in the area. Now, the city officials in Burlington, they said, you know, we really love Dismas. We love having you here, but, you know, you're already in Burlington. Maybe it would be great if you could find a place in one of the other towns or cities around Burlington, right? So we tried. So we tried to find a location in South Burlington. And when some of the city officials found out what we were doing, it was like, hell no, you know, we don't want you, right? So we experienced some kind of rejection ourselves. So we thought, well, let's keep looking. So we found a place in Colchester near St. Mike's. And we thought this would be a good place. But again, the same thing happened. At first, the city officials, they were supportive, but, you know, there were folks in the neighborhood that really, had a few things to say to some of the officials, and they said, well, I'm sorry, we can't support this anymore. So around the same time that this is going on, where we're getting all this rejection, the police chief in Winooski, Chief McQueen, and another official from Winooski, they called me up. And they said, hey, can we come and meet with you? I said, sure. So they come over to the house, and they said, we came over because we want to see if you can open a Dismas House in Winooski, right? So they recruited us. And they followed through. Yeah, they made good. And so in 2008, we opened a house in Winooski. And it really started by the Winooski police chief giving me a phone call. So then fast forward about 10 years. And, as I mentioned, we have, we do evening meals at the house. So we're always interested in having volunteer cooks come. And so one day, the new chief of police in Winooski, Rick Hebert, he gives us a call and says, hey, I and some of our officers, we would like to come to Dismas House and be volunteer cooks. So we want to be the ones to come and say to folks living in the house, hey, I care enough about you. I'm going to come and spend this time with you because we accept you and we want to support you, right? So amazing thing. So the day comes, they come over to the house. With the meal that they fixed, there were 5 officers that came, and we serve family style. I serve all the food, and then it's kind of, as the house director, I kind of figure it's my job to make sure that there's going to be some conversation at the table. So I said, so what about those muscle cars you guys drive? What's up with that? And so we had this really neat conversation about, police driving muscle cars. And, it's like, and how do you like them compared to driving the old Crown Vics that you used to drive and stuff? And it's not so much that I remember, their answers to that question, but we had this great conversation. But then at one point, one of the police lieutenants said, one of the important reasons why we came here is that it's really important for us to be accepted by you, right? So he's talking to a table full of people coming out of prison. They wanted to be accepted by them and to be seen as just a regular person. And when that happened, I thought, that's it, right? That's perfect. Thank you.